So I grew up playing in metal bands in Pakistan, and actually the drummer of my band, one of my best friends, moved to Toronto and became a DJ. He was playing in an underground afters 2009 with Carlo Leo in Toronto. And that was the first time I heard like minimal, and I was just so blown away by electronic music and like the energy of it all that I pretty much decided overnight that I'm gonna quit metal and I'm going to make electronic music. Right now in my studio computer, I have more power than like when Metallica made Master of Puppets. Inside of this little box are more creative possibilities than they had 5 fucking band members and all of their instruments in their studio. Like, I can do way more.
Do you think artists should talk about politics?
Whatever you say, I don't care what you say, is still a product or a byproduct of living in this culture and this society. And I do think that we are not separate from it. We do have some little bit of responsibility, at least in the country that we live in, to say something. And this is like fundamentally the opposite of like the arts and humanities and like, you know, culture. I take from this culture. My music is a product of this culture, and fucked up things are happening, and I'm just not gonna talk about them.
Saqib, thanks for coming to Tiny Table Radio.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's really glad we got to make this happen. You are the first musician or artist that I have interviewed who is from Pakistan.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. Nice. So tell me, how did someone growing up in Pakistan, and you told me you listened to and played in death and black metal bands, how did you shift into becoming an electronic music producer?
So it's an interesting story, but I think first of all, it's a very natural transition. But basically, so I grew up playing in metal bands in Pakistan, and actually the drummer of my band in Pakistan, one of my best friends, moved to Toronto and became a DJ while I was still playing in bands. And I went to visit him in Toronto in 2009, and he was playing with Carlo Leo. Do you know Carlo Leo? He's like an underground tech house guy. So anyways, he's playing in an underground afters in 2009 with Carlo Leo in Toronto. And that was the first time I heard like minimal and like that sound in 2009. It was like kind of like Richie Houghton, Marcool, Minus was the label. So I heard that sound at that time, and I was playing in a bunch of bands, and I realized that I need to do this. And I was just so blown away by electronic music and like the energy of it all that I pretty much decided overnight that I'm going to quit metal and I'm going to make electronic music.
On the spot?
Pretty much.
So
I pretty much realized that. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I was like, wow, like there's so many more things in music than like in metal. Music is it tends to be very dark or very focused on like a small sphere of emotions and things. And I realized that there's so much more in music like that I want to say and do, and I really need to move on. And that was the aha moment for me.
Gotcha.
In 2009.
Was that the first time you had ever like seen a DJ set in person?
No.
Okay.
Actually, so I went to Rutgers in New Brunswick. And so I was exposed to like trance and electronic music since like my first day of college. And I really wasn't that much into it. Like I heard like Ferry Corsten and Armin van Buuren, and I went to all the clubs in New York. And I really was like not into it until I heard that like underground, like that dub sound, like dub minimal techno sound.
Yeah.
I think because it sounds a lot like metal too. There's a lot of similarities. Like it's kind of clangy and industrial, and it's rolling, and it has really big rhythms. And it really clicked with me.
Nice.
And that was my moment. Yeah.
Amazing. So take us through kind of your artistic journey from back then, 2009 to now. Like what's that been like?
Well, so actually my musical journey started when I was 12 years old in Pakistan. I got into rock and metal. Generally, I was in a very rebellious phase of my life. And I grew up playing guitar, bass, drums, and I played in a bunch of bands growing up in Pakistan. And I used to record my band growing up in Pakistan. I used to write all the music and record the band and get everybody to play those at shows, and we would play all of our own music. And I was really into that metal, like metal, death metal, black metal was kind of the ladder that I went up. And then when I moved to college, I went I just kept playing in metal bands. And it was really at the end of college that I found electronic music that I was like, you know, aha moment, and I really changed my life, and I went into electronic music. And actually I spent a couple years when I decided that I'm going to go into electronic music, actually studying it before I think any of it was any good. And I spent a few years like finding myself and my sound and what I'm trying to do. Because even though I grew up with a musical background, it's still like such a big world. You know, and it was even in 2010, it was like there were so many parts of it, you know. So I spent a few years learning it and finding myself, and it was when I moved to New York in 2013 that I became a resident DJ of Members Only. It was a party in New York for many years.
Yep.
And that was really where I learned how to DJ. That where not how like it was where I really like learned my chops, or I paid my dues in a way.
Did you practice DJing up to that point?
Yeah. No, so I had been DJing since like 2009.
Okay.
But it was really where I learned how to read a room. I think that's the better way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I really paid my dues. Like I basically played for Members Only like every weekend for many years.
Yeah.
And I was playing for floors and kind of learning how to read a crowd and how to play my music and where I'm going with this. And that was really where I learned my chops.
Okay.
And then yeah, I've been in New York since then.
And you have a day job as well.
I do have a day job, yeah.
And you had mentioned to me too, like, you know, every artist has a different path, a different journey. But
yeah,
for you, you like that having both, right? Or what's the...
Well, I do have a day job. I practice medicine. I'm a physician.
Okay.
I do think it's possible to do more than one thing in your life. I think that for me personally, it kind of grounds me a little bit, because the electronic music world is one that it is very easy to get carried away and sucked into. It's very easy to just kind of get lost and carried away and never come back. And I think it's really important as an artist to have something that grounds you in reality, in real life. I think it's a really important part of my artistic output and where the inspiration comes from also. Real life human experiences and being a real person in serious situations where people depend on you. I think it's important. It's different for everybody, I know. But I think for me, it's something really important. I mean, would I like to be a very rich and successful artist who never has to do that? Sure, of course. Of course, wouldn't we all? Yeah. But I think for me personally, it's something that kind of grounds me and keeps me here, you know, and real.
Connected to the real world.
Yeah. So it's really important for me, and it's really good, and it kind of keeps me in reality, having a day job. And I think it's really important to realize that it takes many years to build an artist's career. So it's okay to have something that's keeping you afloat in the meantime.
Yeah.
You know?
There's obviously so many different ways to cut it, and like going all in is certainly really commendable, but
yeah,
you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, I think having a connection to and being, you know, having a responsibility outside of your pursuit of music can also help it stay as an art form rather than, you know, having to do it to make a living. But can keep it a bit more freeing.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you, because I mean, right now I basically just follow my heart. Like I just follow my crazy ideas, even if they're not sound like they would even create something of value or substance in the end, but I follow them. And I do them because I fucking love them. That's the reason that I'm doing them, not because my manager is like, yo man, you need to make a track for Abracadabra, what are you doing? Like, get off your ass. It's more like, yo, I heard this random thing in a movie and I'm obsessed with it and I have to figure out how to make it. Or like, you know, like
it stays like more of an art form rather than a grind.
And I think in the end, in the long run, that's actually going to be more successful for me as an artist than doing the thing where my manager is like, hey man, like, come on, why aren't you like pumping out these tracks for the Beatport top 10, you know?
There's no expectation. There's no one breathing down your neck for anything. You just get it when you want and how you want. So how was it? How long did it take you to sign your first track from when you started producing?
So I actually started my first track when I was in med school. That was in 2011 in my
Nice
second
distraction.
year of med school. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was in 2013 actually.
Okay.
I released my first
Okay.
track.
And how long
Yeah.
had you been producing up to that point?
Well, I mean, technically, I was producing since I was like 12
I
years
guess
old.
with the music.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I
Since I was
guess
like
like,
12. But
huh.
in electronic music since 2009, so about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you like for your band, your rock bands, were you like mixing, mastering in a
Yeah, well, I was recording, I was writing the music and I was recording the band and I was mixing it,
Okay.
but I wasn't mastering
Do
it.
you feel like that gave you an advantage with electronic music and how to like
Yes.
understand?
I do. I think it gave me a really big advantage understanding the mechanics that underlie how music works was really important, and also having some technical understanding about instruments and recording things.
Hmm.
And I think it definitely gave me a huge edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like at the base of everything, it's all still like it's all music. I don't know how else to explain it, but understanding the mechanics of music and studying music was a really huge advantage. I studied music in college and I was at SAE and I'm still doing music courses and studying music things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it gave me a huge advantage to have that knowledge when I already got into it.
Do you still incorporate a lot of analog instruments into your records and
I
tracks
try
now?
to.
Yeah.
I try to. And I try to bring in that feel.
Mm.
I really like this like old Bollywood 1970s vibe,
Okay.
kind of like disco, like strumming guitars and
Yeah.
these rolling bass lines and this
Okay.
like, nice, cool little disco toms and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I really like that, and
Okay.
and it's definitely a big part of what I try to make my music sound almost like it's played by a band,
Mm.
as opposed to like purely electronic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bit of a contrast from the aha moment of underground tech
Right?
house, right?
That's really interesting and true. Yeah. And I think over time, as I found my sound and as I grew as an artist into my own thing,
Mm.
not the thing that I heard and I was like, oh my God, I love this. From there till now has changed incredibly. And yeah, it is a really beautiful contrast if you think about it. That you
Yeah.
came from this like industrial clanging, super synthesized thing to now like a really warm, really warm, put together, kind of feels analog and retro thing.
Yeah.
There are definitely elements in it though of future. Like, because I've always been obsessed with this idea of that. So like the music of today is like basically like where it's like grinding in the gears of the industrial machine,
Huh.
right? So a lot of the sound that I'm doing, it's like this like old vintage like band sounding thing, but it's filtered through the sound of 2026 and like the machine.
Mm.
So it's like glitchy and fucked up and it sounds like it's distorted and it has
Mhm.
edges, but it also has this like old warmth in it. If that makes sense.
That
Like
does make sense.
if you sit
Yeah.
and like listen to my music, you would hear it. Like
Yeah.
he's like sampling the vocals and he's like doing all this weird shit and it's distorted and rough, but it's also warm
Yeah.
and it's like a band,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
And that's kind of how I think about music also.
okay.
Like when I make music, like it's kind of like the band. Like I'm the bass player, I'm the drummer, I'm the piano player. Like I think about it in that way,
Yeah.
and that's how it naturally comes to me.
Something else that always comes to mind for me at least, and maybe this is the same for you or not, but also the stage. So like when placing
Yes.
instruments in the space of the container of a song, right? Like,
Yes.
where am I panning the
Yeah.
keyboard
Mhm.
versus the guitar
Yeah.
or
And
whatnot?
and the setting and the sound palette
Yes.
is all it's so interesting. Every song kind of tells you where it wants to be and what it wants to
Mhm.
be. Like
Mhm.
some songs want to be a really warm and beautiful and like like very like kind of bringing you in warm tones, but
Mhm.
other songs want to like be a clangor,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
want to like pots and pans in the fucking
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. That a lot of that is like production also, like because like I make like really pretty trip hoppy Bollywood songs with Nayab, but then I also make this like fucking angry, almost like sounds like a metal band songs too, you know?
Yeah.
And that's part of that comes from having a musical background, I guess.
Sure.
That you can imagine things like that.
Yeah.
And they can make sense, you know?
Totally. And it's also, you know, kind of probably understanding the rules or the theories behind them and being able to kind of bend or break where it might make sense for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, an interesting thought that I realized a few years ago was like, you know, right now in my studio computer, I have more power than like when Metallica made Master of Puppets. Inside of this little box are more creative possibilities than they had 5 fucking band members
Yeah.
and all of their instruments in their studio. Like I can do way more.
Yeah. That's insane to
And
think about.
it's
but
kind
yeah,
of mind-boggling,
yeah.
but it's also empowering.
Totally.
Because it's really like the limit is like your imagination. And I realized this a while ago that you can basically make and create whatever you imagine.
Yeah.
And that it's really beautiful, actually.
And you've signed with, you know, some pretty prominent labels, you know, Maccabi House, Indo Warehouse, Get Physical, the list goes on.
Yeah.
So how are you able to take sort of this imagination that you have, this creativity that you feel like is who you are, and catch the ears of those different labels that have those different sounds?
So there's two things. The first one is that so whenever I'm making music, like I don't ever sit there like, yo, I'm gonna make a track for Get Physical right now, or I'm gonna make a track for Maccabi House right now. Like I'm really trying to make something that I love and just like totally make something that I think is awesome and I would play it and it's like something that I care about. So I'm not actually trying to please those labels with that in mind when I make music. I'm really making something that I think is like, this is awesome and I would play it in my sets and like, I love it. Because you can't keep on making the same song over and over. Like I can't say like, oh, I released on Abracadabra, so I have to keep making this track over and over. You have to keep going to new places. But the other part of it is, the way that I got in their ears was that I kept on sending them demos again and again and again. So like for example, Maccabi House, I probably sent Adam 10 like 25 demos, and he signed the 26th one, and then he signed the 34th one. So like my 2 tracks on Maccabi House came out of sending 35 fucking demos.
Yeah.
And I was just really relentless about it. Same thing with Get Physical. And I was just really relentless about it. And the way that I also got into Abracadabra was that in 2013, Blondish was playing at Output. And I was in medical school and I went there with my USB and I basically stayed till the end of the show and I bribed the security guard to give her my USB. Well, actually, no. I asked the security guard to give her my USB. He said, well, aren't you going to give me something? I said, you can have whatever's in my wallet. And there was $1. So he took it, but he gave it to her.
That?
I didn't know there was going to be $1. I had no idea. I was literally like, you can have whatever's in it, brother. And then that was actually how I signed with Abracadabra and I started working with Blondish. Was I just put myself out there. And you have to be like relentless and you have to acknowledge and accept that rejection is totally normal. It's okay to be
more common than it isn't.
Yes, it is totally okay to be rejected, and you have to like get over that.
Yeah.
And you can't take it personally.
I think it, like, kind of coming back to a broader theme of what we've discussed already, is it's probably more liberating to deal with rejection when you have a day job.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess. I mean, like, I don't know, because, you know, I'm not pursuing,
Yeah.
you know, that as a career, but I know people who are. But if I were personally, I think I would be more, I would take each no probably a bit more personally.
I mean, I do still sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I do take it personally, and it wrecks me. Like, because sometimes like I'll give something to a big artist and they're like, yo, I love this. I'm playing it. And then a month later, they'll be like, actually, I'm not signing it. And I go from here
oh man
to here.
Yeah.
So no, it always hurts. It
Sure.
always hurts.
Okay.
Nothing ever makes it okay, but I think one of the fundamental parts of the artistic process is failure,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And rejection is, I guess, in a way, like a form of a type of failure, I guess,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like a fundamental part of the process, and you just have to, because you care about it and you love it. So obviously it hurts when you get
Sure.
rejected, but you just have to like take it in stride,
Yeah.
you know?
It
Yeah.
also seems like to me that because you are making music that you want to make, without the intention of, when I start this track, I want to sign with XYZ label,
Yeah.
that you see kind of where it goes and you're like, "Oh, okay, this sounds awesome." And then you find the label that it would
Yeah.
fit with,
Mhm.
rather than try to reverse engineer from the sound of a label.
Exactly. That's basically how all of my things, everything I do goes.
Nice.
Is that I just make things that I love, and I start playing them out in my sets and stuff, and then I just like, like for example, the one I signed on Maccabi House, the last one, I made it and I was like, this is sick. And like I started playing it out, and then I just randomly sent it to Adam 10. He's like, damn, dog. Damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then he rejected it. And then a month later, somebody sent me a video of him playing it at Space. And I was like, yo, dog. He's like, yo, I actually love this. And then he like reworked it a little bit with me. And then like for the next 1 month, like I saw Mitagami playing it and tagging me like everywhere. And I was like, guys,
Come on.
come on, come on, come on. And then finally he was like, all right, okay, fine. I will sign this and we will put it on Maccabi House.
Amazing.
But I think like I really am making it like for my sets
Yeah.
is the way that I think about it. Like
Yeah.
that's my real intention here.
Yeah.
Is that it's something that I would play. And then XYZ label, wherever it goes,
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
But the first like bar is me.
You must make a lot of songs to be able to send 25 straight demos to one label
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
that one sound,
Yeah.
right? And you have a whole bunch of probably, the labels that you sign with aren't all the same exact kind of vibe.
Correct. Yeah.
So like, how much are you putting out like on a monthly basis?
So I'm very lucky that I have a lot of songs in my heart. And I'm very lucky that I make a lot of things, and I'm just like constantly making music all the time. And I'm always working on a lot of things all the time. So like right now I'm working on like 5 different tracks, and I'm just working on little pieces of them all the time.
Okay.
But I've been doing that for many, many years.
Right.
So I have like for example, like I have like a track coming out every month for like the next 6 months or whatever. And then I'm sitting on like 10 demos aside from that.
Right.
But really that's just many years of doing it and putting them on the side. Yeah. And then it took me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my like goals in life was to be able to go and play DJ sets that are only my own tracks.
Yeah.
And it took me many years to get there.
Yeah.
Like a long, long time where I actually go and I play and I'm like, I like these tracks. This was good.
Yeah.
It took a really long time. So
Sure.
basically it's a lot of hard work, and I'm just constantly working on tracks. Sometimes tracks happen really fast. Sometimes they take a really long time. It's really hard to understand that part.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like some songs I make them and like they're just like,
It just happens.
wow, holy shit, dog. And then some songs like I make them and then I'm just like, I don't like it, or it's not good, or there's not a vocal, or
Yeah.
something doesn't work here. I'm very honest with myself.
Okay.
And I have a mentor. Atish is my mentor, and
Mhm.
he's very honest with me, and I've learned that
important.
like
Feedback is super important.
I've learned to not be like, oh, this is good and it is objectively good. I can make something and be in love with it one night and be like, oh my God, fucking hit. But then the next day still come back and be like, actually, honestly, I don't think it's that good. It's slow, it's draggy, I don't like it, it's not working. So it's really important to have that. I have that honesty with myself,
Sure.
and I work really hard.
Yeah, you can like separate the emotion from it and be like
Yeah,
critical.
yeah.
and
So
objective.
I guess in summary, the answer is that I work really hard, and I'm always working all the time.
Okay.
And I'm kind of always like making music in my head.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on the subway, when I'm walking around, I like
Yeah.
listening to the tracks that I'm working on in my AirPods, and I'm thinking about it. Like, yo, maybe I should put a new hi-hat on there, or like,
Yeah.
this part is just boring.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like I need to go and just totally destroy this thing.
Yeah.
You know?
How do you note that? You know, so like you're
Yeah.
at a subway or you're out in the world,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, I got to do this. Do you like take it out on your
Sometimes
phone,
I
or-
make notes on my reminders, or you know, like the
Yeah.
Apple thing
Yeah,
that's like, and it puts a little circle and you write a reminder over there. So I'll just like put in like lists, like take the kick down 2 decibel, make this part longer, reverse this part,
Yeah,
do this,
yeah.
do this, do this, and I'll just put it into notes, and then I have to deal with it.
Mhm.
The next time I'm in the studio, I'm like, oh shit, oh yeah, there was like a whole list of things. So
Yeah.
that's how I do it mainly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I know if I didn't make a note of it, I would forget.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I had this really great thought and now it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who hasn't signed with a label that they've wanted to yet, or even at all? What's the one biggest piece of advice you would give to that person?
Be persistent.
Yeah.
Be persistent and be okay with being rejected.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually a reflection on you as a human being that your song was rejected.
Yeah.
You just have to keep working on it.
Yeah. I think it's also very easy to get caught up in making a small number of songs be perfect rather than like being like, okay, this is great and I could actually send this as a demo.
Yeah.
And let's make like 20 more of them.
I went to this museum in Amsterdam. It was a Van Gogh museum.
Huh?
And like, dude, this guy was so fucking prolific. Holy shit. Like, he has like hundreds of works.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was reading this person was talking about, they walked into Picasso's studio, right? And every single corner of it just has work in it, right? Like, the man is work his ass off. You only saw like 10% of the things that he ever even made.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like aspire to that.
Mm.
Like, that's like my personal goal as an artist is to just create, and to always create, and to never like hang my hat on something.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important, because otherwise you never really grow.
Yeah.
You know, like if you make something and you're like, this is fucking awesome. I'm awesome. This was great. Then like you're just gonna be like, okay, I made 5 songs this year. I'm fucking awesome. Let me, you know, like I don't believe in that. When I saw the Van Gogh museum, I was just like, dude, he would do like hundreds of versions of like a same idea, right? He would do it in green. Now he do it in blue. Now he make the lines a little bit different. Now he makes it big. Now he makes it small. Like, and I was like, dude, what am I doing? Like, I need to be on this level. Like, what the fuck am I, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it really made me think, and I think that's how I judge myself as an artist, or I think about success is like, what is your output? What are you creating? Not how many followers did you have? How big was the show that you played? It's more like, what are you creating and how good is it? And what is that for me?
Just like endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Do you ever have moments, like you say, you're constantly working on it, you're constantly like, whenever you have a moment or you're creating or producing, do you ever have moments where you don't want to but you still push through that? Or are you in a place where it's more of, you know what, I'm not in the mood, I'll just go do something else?
Well, there's 2 parts of it. I do definitely show up when I don't always want to be there.
Okay.
I do, because I do think it's an important part of the process is showing up when you don't want to do it. When it hurts a little bit, or it's a really important part of the process is showing up. At the same time, I do think it's important to understand that the creative process is not something that can be planned or sequenced, or it's different from like, you know, I created 5 sets of this object that are exactly the same in this set amount of time, and this is my, you know, what I'm doing. It's something much more like hard to really to predict.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important to just show up and be there even when you don't want to. But it's also important to listen to yourself and understand how the creative process in your brain works. It's a mystery. I don't understand it.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody understands it really, right? But I do try to listen to my inner voice. And there are some times where I really don't want to be there, but I do try to show up. I also try to listen though. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
like sometimes that means like, okay, like go and listen to this Turkish singer from the 70s for 4 hours and listen to all of her songs and just,
Yeah. Sit there and
you know,
take it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of both things, but showing up is really important.
Doesn't sound like you really have an exact system or recipe for your creative process.
There's a few things about it in electronic music that are sort of fundamentals.
Uh-huh.
One of those I think is just like making grooves and beats. So I do make a lot of beats.
Okay.
Like I just throw beats at the wall all the time. So, and I will at any given time be sitting on like 10 different beats waiting for a vocalist or an idea. So that is one part of the creative process that I'm kind of doing all the time, whether I'm inspired or not, or that I'm just like making beats all the time.
Got you.
And like different ones, right? Like
Mhm.
like a really retro sounding one or like a really clangy metallic sounding one or so that is one part of the process that I'm always doing, whether I'm like super inspired or not. I do sort of look at myself a little bit like kind of like a more of a producer than like a star, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
like I'm very good at making beats, arranging them, putting things together, finishing songs, but I'm not like the voice. I'm not like the James Brown. I'm not the Michael Jackson who's just like has the song. Oh my God, it's a fucking hit. But if I met Michael Jackson in the street, I'd be like, dog, you get in here right now. We're gonna do some shit.
Yeah.
So I realize that and I understand that about myself as an artist. So that's why I'm constantly making beats and just filing them away.
Have you ever pulled a random singer off of the street? Like, I mean, like, I heard your voice, come record with me.
There was one guy who I heard singing in the subway
There's just
last
so
year.
much talent in the city.
And I was like super into him.
Yeah.
But then he left New York. I was trying to work with him. But I will tell you one thing. The other day, I don't know why I follow this Bengali rapper.
Okay.
And I was just randomly, just kind of like off the street.
Okay.
He had a post where he was just like, it was just like a photo dump. And in the middle of it, there was like 10 bars of a rap song. And I was like, I don't know why. I was just like, dude, this is fucking fire, bro. He's like, you want to produce it? And I was like, what? Of course I would. And so we're working on it right now.
Oh, sick.
So it is kind of like the equivalent of like walking down the street. And I just heard it and I was like, dog, this is fire. I just respect. And he just turned it around on me like, let's work on it together. And now we're doing it. It's super cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it more of like a hip hop track or is it like a house track with his?
So it's more of a hip hop track.
Okay.
And I didn't want to overtake it and try to make it into a club thing. Like it wanted to be a hip hop track, so we made it into a hip hop track. Nice. I'll play it for you guys later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out to Farouk bhai, fucking legend. But then when I met him and we started working on that thing, now we're working on like 10 things.
Oh, sick.
Since then,
Yeah.
because we tapped into this thing together.
Yeah.
And then I sent him like 2 beats last night, like club tracks. So,
Yeah.
cool. I think I really like producing beats for artists that are not necessarily club tracks.
Yeah. And also probably like makes it interesting for you when you are making a club track to maybe incorporate some of what you did for a non-club track into it, right?
Yeah. Because I think one of the things with club music is that we have let it become very loopy.
Oh yeah.
And
it's easy.
Yeah. And
it like
but I think something that we lost there is like the music in it.
Yeah.
Right? By letting it be so loopy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that like I'm one of like my one of my base missions as an artist is to bring back that musicality into club music.
Yeah.
So like I want it to feel like a song, but it's still a club track that a DJ is playing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like a bass thing that I'm trying to do for sure.
this is a good time to pivot into the label that you have, I think.
Oh yeah.
Beats on Time.
Yeah.
Is that part of the mission of that label?
So there's two parts of it. I think one part of it was that when I started the label, actually my mentor really pushed me to start the label because he was like, "Dog, you are sitting on so much sick music. Like, you should start a label." Part of it was he really was like, "Dude, I think you need to do this. Like, you're on top of it. You can do this."
Yeah.
One part of it was that I really wanted to have control over the release of my music. And I wanted to have control over the way that it's distributed, the way that it looks, the way that it comes out in the world.
Mhm.
The other part of it was that I'm really lucky to know all these fucking sick artists who are like making bombs. And I'm playing their bombs all the time. And I want to build a little platform or community around them to lift them up
Yeah.
so people hear them.
Yeah.
Because if you heard me and you like me, you're probably going to like this artist too because they're fucking sick.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a big part of the motivation behind the label was to make a platform for people that I think are dope.
What do you look for when signing a track to the label?
Honestly, the most important thing that I look for is originality.
Okay.
I really like, for example, like I don't care about the genre as much. Like I care about originality and I want it. I mean, this is club music and it's to be played in a club, in a party.
Right.
So I do want it to have a certain feeling of
It
the
has
dance.
to pass the can I play this for a dance floor test?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Though I'm going to bring you one part of that in a second.
Okay.
For me, that's one big part of it is like, would I play this?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part of it is it original? And does it move me? Do I love this?
Yeah.
It's not so much like, okay, this is an indie dance banger and it's going to be in the Beatport Indie Dance Top 10. That's not a part of the philosophy because sounds and genres will always change and morph over time. They're never going to be the same. So you can't start and have a long-lasting label if the idea is just that we are this thing.
Right.
It has to be more. Like it has to be a deeper thing for me. So I think I look for one part of it is the the dance floor test. One part of it is originality and like, do I love it? You know, that's really what I care about. So for example, in the coming months on Beats on Time, we're gonna put out an album that's a trip hop album.
Okay.
That sounds like if Jay Dilla grew up in India.
Okay.
And he was sampling like old Bollywood movies, but he was making that Jay Dilla sound. And it's a really mysterious band. They are represented by an Italian sound engineer named Francesco Mami. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. He's my it's so good.
Amazing.
And I love it. It's like the coolest thing you've ever heard. And okay, yeah, it's not exactly club music, but when you hear it, it's something fucking awesome and you want to hear it over and over again. Like you just want to hear that album. And it's only like a 25-minute long album.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings me back to like albums and like
Yes.
that whole feeling.
The lost art of listening to a whole album front to back.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And what I always want to do with Beats on Time is that I want to always do things with it that I fucking care about and I love. And I never want it to be anything other than that. And I think that people actually resonate with that and they get that. And like when they go to Beats on Time, they're not like, oh, okay, I'm here, I'm gonna hear a new indie dance song. They're like, okay, whatever is happening there, it's probably cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe I won't like it, but it's worth like checking it out. Maybe it's like some, housey thing. Maybe it's like, a trip hop album, but it's something cool.
Nice.
That's how I look at it.
The label also throws events.
Yeah, so we also throw parties. The big thing for me is that the majority of the lineup of the parties is the artists on the label.
Yep.
So I want to give them a place that they can DJ and be heard and play shows.
Sure.
The other part of it is that for example, we brought Robag Room to our event at Signal in January, and Robag is an artist who I deeply admire and I respect and I'm in love with. I love his music for so many years, and I'm lucky to know him. And one part of it is that I also want it to be like we're showing people music that we think is like really awesome. So like it's basically label artists and a few artists that we think you need to listen to.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think that the whole vibe of it is like very music centered. It's not so much like flashy or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
like very simple, music centered, kind of like Brooklyn attitude
Yeah.
is what I feel and what I want it to be. And it should be centered around the artist and the music of a label.
Yeah.
Is how I feel about it. Yeah.
Signal sounds like the perfect venue for that vibe.
Yeah. And we're gonna hopefully do it again soon.
Oh, nice.
We're working on the next date.
Nice.
Yeah.
I checked out some of the panel that you did with Unmixed magazine at Signal
Yeah.
last October.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that you said that stood out to me was that you said, quote, "There's a little bit of hope in where the direction of the underground music industry is headed."
Yeah.
What specifically is giving you that hope?
I think that we are becoming a little bit more aware of the shittiness and the fakeness and the fakeness of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that more people are becoming aware of how shallow a lot of like these underground, a lot of these like mainstream things are, and they're kind of coming back to the music. I do think that there's a subset of promoters, events, dancers, and listeners around the world that are coming back to like caring about music, and maybe in a way like that was a like an entry point for them was like some really shitty, terrible EDM thing, but now like they're slowly making their way into something deeper. So in that sense, I do think that there is a small but present heartbeat inside of electronic music that is very strong. And yeah, and it will survive. I do have faith in it and hope in it. It goes up and down because it's becoming harder to exist and survive as a promoter right now, and as an artist.
Yes.
It is becoming really hard to compete with much bigger events.
Yeah.
It is hard to compete with bigger venues that just radius lock every fucking artist, right?
Oh my
Like
gosh, yeah,
it's
that's such
crazy. Like as a smaller promoter myself with Beats on Time, like half the artists that we were trying to get also we couldn't even get them.
Yeah.
Because they are in like 6-month radius clauses with the biggest promoters.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is a whole different issue.
But
really,
they exist and they're alive and I believe in them.
on the flip side, what's something that's really, kind of concerning you or giving you a little pause with how how underground music industry is right now?
I think one of them is ticket prices.
Okay.
And one of them is just the influx of massive amounts of money from places that don't necessarily have our best interests at heart. It's concerning that there are a lot of like corporations that are funding things that are fundamentally not what the electronic music world stands for. And we're giving them our money.
Yeah.
And that is something that I really struggle with.
Okay.
Okay, like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think
Some of it
so.
is like the KKR and for example, the infiltration of MAGA into the electronic music world. A lot of the festivals that are like Plur and EDM and everybody's so happy and excited to go there and give them hundreds of dollars are actually supporting Trump.
Yeah.
Like that's So this is something that I struggle with.
Okay.
I also struggle with ticket prices and just generally the affordability inside electronic music. And I think that one other thing is that there is a little bit of the death of the smaller artist because of bigger artists charging such massive, overwhelming fees.
Yeah.
I think it's made it harder for artists like me to even exist.
Sure.
Because okay, I just booked XYZ artists. They're charging me like $30,000. There's no way that I'm going to put Saqib to open for them. I'm just going to put the guy who's willing to play for free. So it's hard to be a career artist in places like that, which is now.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that kind of stand out to me there in what you said. And one of them is just really the influx of capital from just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I kind of perceive what you're saying as like, if you have capital to invest in an asset and those types of companies see our culture as an asset that they can profit off of, have a positive ROI from, okay, well, if we commercialize big event, charge higher ticket prices, we'll get a positive ROI on that event. And that is actually destroying the culture in that sense. Not globally speaking, but for that, like, let's
Yeah.
just isolate it in that one acute example.
Mhm.
And something my wife and I always say is you can't buy culture.
Yeah. And it's ironic because the culture was in the first place a rebellion against
Correct.
those things.
That is the biggest irony of
Yeah.
this whole thing.
Yeah.
The flip side of that, and kind of like you said, is, you know, what is not the solution, but like how do we just as a kind of as a culture and as a scene create an environment where people like you can, you know, support themselves through the pursuit of growing in the art, or people even who are just trying to get a few gigs in a month, right? And just like work their way up and not do it for free, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you just pay, you know, headliner $50K to come on and the
Yeah.
opener will play for free,
Yeah.
it's like, where's the room for the middle, the people in the middle?
I think that we have to realize that, first of all, when we go to events, right, like there's some power in our wallet, right? And we have to think about we have to be maybe a little bit more discerning about where and what we are patronizing and what we are supporting,
Right.
right? Because, for example, like a lot of people will go to these huge festivals. If you told them like, hey man, like the guy who threw this festival actually donated $5 million to Trump, right?
Right.
A lot of them would probably be like, a good number of them would stop and think about it for a minute at least.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think one part of it is that we need to be more careful, and maybe we need more voices. We need more independent voices in journalism that's calling those things out. We need to be like Unmixed Magazine. We need to be more careful about this, and we need to think about the repercussions of that. And I think that there was a time when it was cool to be unknown, and it was cool to be like underground, right? And it was cool to go and find that song that nobody's ever heard of. And maybe like we need to go to smaller parties and smaller promoters and maybe spend more time looking for new artists and new music and patronize those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. I think, you know, it's almost like a shop local or support your small businesses version of the scene, right? It's like go to the Signals and the Refuges and the 99, you know, like those places where you can understand that the venue is like almost a small business operation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like run by people who care about the space and the scene and the right things. But at the same time, you know, and kind of something we were talking about off camera a little bit is just the idiocyization, I just made that up, of kind of society of just like, most people probably just don't care to look into it, right?
Right.
So it's like, how do we dive into it, you know, without, you know, having to get on a megaphone and say, hey, person who wants to just go listen to house music on a random Saturday, think about this first, right?
I think it's independent voices and investigative journalists.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's a really big part of it, because real talk, if you go, okay, this is a heavy thing I'm about to say
let's
here.
go.
But if you go and you read the majority of electronic music publications, right, you would notice most of what they're writing is positive, okay? Most of it is kind of like paid advertising space. Let's be real. I know this is very painful, but it's true. So they are not ever going to write things that are like in any way going to ruffle feathers, okay?
Sure.
So look away from those and try to find other voices. We need more voices in the scene that are talking about and making these things known.
Sure. Do you think artists should talk about politics?
I think that the music that we make is, so we are, even if it's music coming out of my heart, right? I'm still a part of this society. I still live in this society and this culture. I'm a part of this culture. I contribute to this culture, and my music is whatever you say. I don't care what you say. It's still a product or a byproduct of living in this culture and this society. And I do think that we are not separate from it. It's you can't just conveniently say, okay, well, you know, I live in America, it's a fucking shit show right now, but I'm just gonna say no, and I'm not gonna talk about it as an artist. I think we do have some little bit of responsibility, at least in the country that we live in, to say something. And we do have people that listen to us that want. We do have people that listen to us, and we have a little bit of a duty to speak to that platform. I get it that some artists are like totally apolitical. I understand that's like their brand or whatever, you know, but I think that it's a little bit selfish also in a way to say that I take from this culture. My music is a product of this culture, and fucked up things are happening, and I'm just not gonna talk about them.
Yeah.
Because like real talk, what's happening in America right now is so against all of the basic things that electronic music stands for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like deporting people, you're anti-LGBT, you're taking away women's rights. Like, none of that is like, that is fundamentally
Polar
opposite
Yeah.
of what electronic music is about. Like inclusion, everybody is welcome here. Everybody is free to be what they want to be. So I do think it's fucked up, at least in America, for us to be part of this culture and benefiting from it and watching it be eroded and attacked without saying something.
Yeah.
I said it.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
And you know, we also, I think, have to remember where house music came from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It came as a form of protest. It came as a form of of marginalized communities
Yeah.
having a safe environment to express themselves freely.
Yeah.
And, I think it's difficult to make a decision as to what someone might want to say publicly about their opinions because,
Right.
it's vulnerable. It is putting yourself in a position where people might, you could potentially lose gigs or money or,
Yeah.
right. And like
Yeah.
real talk, right? It's
Of course. Of course.
And so it is such a challenge. And saying nothing isn't, I'm not saying that is the right or the wrong thing. I'm just saying nothing doesn't mean you don't care.
Right.
Saying nothing publicly doesn't mean you don't care. That doesn't mean you can't have these conversations. Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's different for everybody. Right. However, ultimately, I think it's important to choose to live by those, especially if you are involved in this scene or this culture.
Yeah.
Choose to stand up for what the culture was built on.
Yeah.
In some way.
And what our values are.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And like that can be in different ways and mean different things to different people. So
Yeah.
I don't think everyone has to post on Instagram about their opinions.
Right.
But in some capacity, like live in the way that respects
Yeah.
what this culture was built on.
Like, so I've been like studying and researching and thinking about branding a lot lately. Okay. And I understand when an artist says, hey man, this is like my brand. This is my movie. This is my thing. I get it. But it's even more cool when they can step outside of that for 1 second and say, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
It actually makes me respect them more.
Sure.
If we don't say something, then who will, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I completely agree with you on all of this. Like we do have, like, we came from this thing. This thing, like I wouldn't be making electronic music. Me and you wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be DJing a set for you if house music did not exist.
Correct.
Right? So that's kind of, I think it's unfair to take from it.
Yeah.
And then when it's like being assaulted, you're just like, whatever,
Yeah. Like just kind of stay neutral or passive
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love having these topics come up
Yeah.
here because I think it is so important.
It is.
And
actually, this is a really important platform, I think, because I feel like, for example, even for people where it's on brand, off brand, whatever,
yeah,
they could still sit here and tell you and talk to you about it,
totally.
And I think it's really important.
Yeah. Any other elements of this that you want to add before we shift a little?
I think that, there's a lot of haters and there's a lot of people that will immediately jump on you when you say something, right?
Uh-huh.
For example, I played in Chicago recently When I was in Chicago, I was in front of the Trump Tower, and I made a video. I made a story of myself going like this in front of Trump Tower. And like a couple people actually attacked me on my story, like, just be a DJ. You're not a politician. And I was like, man, honestly, you never need to listen to me ever again.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I actually am okay with a hard pass here. We never need to interact again.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's actually like a nice filter,
Yeah.
you know? But I've thought about it a lot. And I think that, like, I live here. I should say something about it. We all should. Like, that could be me tomorrow that's getting deported. That could be my mom. That could be anybody. Like, that could be you. That could be my neighbor. Like, we all have a duty to say something.
You know, these are really important things to talk about.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that just remembering where house music started and what it started with and why it started that way is at least, you know, I think should be the North Star for like how people should show up in the space and in the culture in some capacity, right? So you know, human rights is a pretty big part of that.
Yeah,
so,
it really is. Yeah.
Anyway, let's shift into kind of the way that you're helping a few people right now.
Oh yeah.
You are mentoring a handful in music production, right?
Yeah. So I mentored 3 artists. They're DJs and producers, and artists, great artists. Yeah, I actually really love working with them. We go through, a lot of it is music production, Ableton, and just the theories of music, right? Like the ideas behind it, and being a creative person. And some of it is also just like advice on their DJ careers and being an artist and all of the parts of being an artist. You know, there's so many of them. And I really love it a lot. I think that I actually get something from them as much as they get from me.
Okay.
You know, I feel like I learned something from them as well, and I really appreciate it a lot. And for me, it's actually more about, I actually just really appreciate my 3 mentees a lot, and I like to see them grow.
What's something that you've learned from teaching that you didn't expect to?
Oh, I think like, well, one thing actually is, my first mentee, Sana, kind of showed me this like bass music. Okay, like this whole like sound.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it or like really knew it, but she would keep playing me shit, and I really like got into this like breaks, bass music, UKG sound because of her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
a wild
she'll like
world.
play me shit she's working on. I'm like, damn, that shit is nice.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of got into it from her actually.
Nice.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's some like when you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Like I did a boot camp and there were quite a few like bass producers. And,
Yeah.
and I was just like, there are some wild sounds that
Yeah.
are like swirl into my stuff.
Yeah,
but
I
just,
actually
like, really grimy stuff.
Yeah, like I went to listen to her play at Elsewhere,
Okay.
and I was like, shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck is this?
Yeah.
And I was like really blown away, actually. And I was like, damn, I need to shift my headspace a little and like listen to this new shit, man. I really loved it. So I really appreciate that a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you plan on mentoring more people? Is that something you want to like kind of grow into another element of your creative pathway, or is it just kind of like, you know what, these people came to you, asked you, or you're just like, hey, like let me show you a few things? Like what do you see that becoming?
Well, so I'm very careful that it's not to make it part of my brand as an artist, first of all.
Okay.
I don't want Saqib to be associated with, oh, that's the guy who does those baseline tutorials and shit like that. I do not want that, and I make a very clear distinction between these things. Originally I was thinking about like starting a Patreon and doing all these like videos and getting really into it. But I think over time I realized that what matters to me more is like being in a few lives and really being involved in them than doing it at scale.
Yeah.
I think it means much more to me to be actually like have a deeper relationship with my crew, you know?
Totally.
So right now, the way that I see it is that it's gonna stay very small.
Yeah.
And like at most it would be like 5.
Okay.
But probably 3.
Yeah.
Because it's also like, there's also like so much other shit in my life. Like I run the record label. I also make music. I'm also dealing with all of my own music management, label management,
Yeah.
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So it's hard to actually have more space to really have more mentees, you know?
Yeah,
And I also try to like, talk to them and make sure that we're actually a fit. You know what I mean? It's not like everybody would actually
Yeah.
take something meaningful from me.
So how did it come about with these three then?
Actually, so Sana was asking me for a while. She was the first one.
Persistence.
She asked me for a while. She was asking me for a while, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make the Patreon. There's gonna be some videos. You can sign up." But she was like, "No, man, come on, come on." And then I just had this like moment one day, and I was like, "Okay, I am going to mentor her." And then it just worked out really well, and I really like working with her. And then a couple of people had been asking me for a while, and then they were all very persistent. And I was like, okay, fine, let's have a call and talk about it, and we like get to know each other first, and we figure out if this even works.
Nice.
But really, it was I was gonna do it. I was gonna start a Patreon, and I was like, don't have the time.
Yeah.
And
it's a
then
lot.
Sana kept asking me, and I was like, she's actually really awesome, like, you know, and this might actually work really well. So
Nice.
that was how it happened.
Nice.
So credit to her, actually. Yeah.
Again, just
Yeah.
keep asking, right?
Yeah.
What's your take on Ghost producers?
Um,
Say less now.
yeah.
The Sai said it all.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like I understand from the point of view that you need money, so you make music for other people. I think I struggle with it from the philosophical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist who has had to make music and cut through the noise to be heard,
Yeah.
and as somebody who is mentoring other artists who are trying to cut through the noise and the volume, the sheer number of things, I feel like um, it's it's I'm philosophically against it.
I feel like it would be really hard for me to DJ a song that I claim as my own when someone else produced it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how I would be able to look in the mirror.
I
don't know how
agree.
I'd be able to live with. Like, I would definitely have a very deep identity crisis, and I would like
Yeah.
pretty much like crumble away over time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like,
Like you might as
I
well
don't
just
know
like
how I would deal with
just
it.
be a DJ. Like,
Yeah,
If
yeah.
that's
Like,
know,
like I'm
I
okay
don't
with
know. I just
I'm
like
okay with my life, whatever it is, as an artist, how it is.
yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Where I can at least wake up every day and be like, yo, I made that shit.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I
know?
can on the flip side, I can understand like let's say you make a track and you're just not at the place yet where you can mix and master it for like being club ready.
That's different.
That's different.
That's completely different.
Right.
That is a completely different thing because like mixing is a process. Yes, there are times where you make something that's really cool, but you really do need help with mixing it because there are little, very minute details that you do not understand. That's totally different.
Yep.
I don't master my own music at all anyway. I never master my own music.
Okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Generally, you shouldn't master your own music because you spend so much time making it.
Yeah.
That you have a different, like a not an objective view of it.
Yeah.
That's different. I'm talking about, like somebody sent me a message on Instagram. Somebody sent me a message on Instagram the other day about ghost producer packages.
Oh, geez.
And hey, like, you know, I will do this for you, you know, 3 songs, 800 euros, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's the thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because I just think that it's creating more noise and it's not actually helping this world.
I agree.
You know, it's not really enriching culture.
Can you talk about a challenge that you faced in your career that's really stood out to you?
Oh, wow. I think probably the most powerful one has been finding my sound.
Okay.
That is a challenge. Finding myself and my sound took a long time. It took many years. I'm still finding it. I still haven't.
It sounds like you have you have different sounds.
Yeah. I'm still growing it. I'm still many years from like where I want to be in terms of my skill level as an artist.
Uh-huh.
But I would say that's probably the most unique and the most like persistent challenge throughout my career has always been finding my sound and finding new places. And it took many years. to kind of figure it out, you know, because like from where I started playing music to where I am now in electronic music, like as we were saying, like from that 2009, that like underground thing to this sound that I can very nicely tell you, like, you know, it kind of sounds like a band, and it's like in, you know, grinding in the gears of the industrial machine. Like that's something that took me a very long time to actually understand what it is and what I am. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, and the most difficult part of the artistic journey, right? Is like finding my sound in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't. It's still going. Like I don't know where it'll be in 2 years or 3 years,
Yeah.
but I think that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's universal regardless of the sort of type of track that you produce, the genre vibe, like how it sounds? There's still a distinct, like, this is a Saqib sound?
Yes, absolutely. I think that a lot of people actually tell me that like I can definitely know if it's your track, whether it's like deep housey or it's like a smasher. Like I can always tell that your hand is in it. Um, and I think that that's kind of what I mean about the sound, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not about like, oh, like I made this like really poppy housey song, then I made this song that's like, you know, really hard and, you know, loud. And they're fundamentally not even related to each other. But if you listen to it, you would hopefully be like, oh, I know where this is coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of also what I mean about the finding your sound. Because
Totally.
how can you, how do you make, how do you keep on making things that are different and like growing and going to new places without losing that? Without, or what's like the common thread in it, right?
Ghost producers and AI.
Ghost producers and AI. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
No, but I know what you're saying.
yeah,
You know, that distinct, like, I feel like every artist or producer or DJ who plays their own music, you know, that is recognizable. You're just like, no matter what the vibe is, it's like,
yeah,
oh, there's that
yeah,
sound in it.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And those are the ones that stand out to me,
100%.
and that are real artists, you
Yeah,
know?
I
Yeah,
agree. To be able to make it yours regardless of
yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah. Where is Saqib in 10 years?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. I'm not making a lot of music and playing a lot of music, but what? I'm not sure. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I definitely see myself growing in the club world, but also branching a little bit into non-club spaces as
Okay.
an artist and a music producer.
Like
Um,
what?
so like right now I've been working on an album of like sort of like trip hop, electronica, Indian songs with the singer Nayab,
Mm,
that, and like those songs could pretty much be in a Bollywood film
nice.
or they could be in a movie.
Yeah.
And they're really beautiful songs. I'll play you guys some of them later.
Can't wait.
Um, So I definitely see myself growing a lot outside of the club world, but also continuing to evolve my sound in the club world. Where will it go? I have no idea, and I love that.
Yeah.
It will. I can tell you what it will not be. Will be just following the thing of the day and the time and what's hot right now. It will not be that.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, and I will tell you, like, I believe in it. I don't know exactly what it will end up as, but I believe in it.
Having direction without knowing what the road really is.
Well, because you know, okay, like there's like so many songs inside of me, right?
Uh-huh.
And they want to come out and they want to exist in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to create a place for them to exist. That's like my goal. What are they going to be? I don't know, like, and I love that.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's it.
like it can go into a really beautiful poppy place, or it can go into a really evil, I don't even know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And that actually is what excites me.
Nice.
Yeah. That's like
Nice.
my like guiding light. It's not like, I mean, for some people it's like, okay, I want to be the #1 touring artist. I want to be on the top of every festival billing. But for me, it's really like, I want to make all of these songs and I want to just let them have their own life, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I feel that's the true success, at least for me.
What is a piece of equipment or a plugin that you can't live without in your studio setup?
Oh wow. I would say probably my vocoder,
Okay.
and probably like my vocoder, and then there's a couple of plugins.
You only get one now.
Okay, okay.
You can tell me.
Couple of plugins like Pigments,
Yeah, okay.
Pigments, Serum, VPS Avenger, and then everything by Arturia.
Dude,
I love Arturia.
I cannot tell you how many times the Arturia collection comes up when I ask this.
Yeah, you know, because it
So
sounds
good.
so real and old.
Especially people who are doing the like warm
Yeah.
musical type of
Yeah,
production.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I recently came across this series of samplers by a company called Bloom Audio, and I'm not gonna tell you more.
Yeah. I have
It's
heard of.
becoming a secret weapon of mine. I am fucking obsessed.
Why'd
with
you
it.
say it?
I know, it's okay.
You
it's
couldn't
okay.
help yourself.
Bloom Audio, wow, wow. Like they have like 20 or 30 samplers. They're all wow.
Okay.
Like blew my mind. Yeah.
No wordplay, pun intended there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're out performing, what
Yeah.
is one non-music essential that you always bring to a gig?
I try to always remember earplugs,
Yeah.
but a lot of times I don't.
Okay.
I don't usually wear earplugs when I'm DJing, but I do right afterward and right before.
Yeah.
I have 1 or 2 times played in very loud places where I actually wore an earplug while standing next to the monitor. But I would say that's pretty much it. And of course, hopefully my keys.
What is the weirdest thing someone's handed to you while you've been DJing?
Okay, I was thinking about this a lot. And I want to say the weirdest thing anyone ever handed me while DJing was a USB so they could get on the decks with me when I've never met them before.
Ugh.
It has happened multiple times in multiple cities, and multiple times where I went in that city for the first time ever. Somebody like was like drunk and like in the middle of my set, and they're like coming to the booth and they're like, "Here, come on, let's tag, bro."
Was this like
Let's
at a
tag.
club, like a paid?
Many times,
Yeah.
every time, yes. And I guess I almost feel mean saying like I'm sorry, like I don't know, but I would say that's probably the weirdest one, when you're DJing and someone comes up to you and they're like, "Let me just jump in," and you're like, "Dude, like I was like flown over here from a different place,
Like,
and like
this is my job.
yeah.
Like-
So that's a weird one, I would say.
Yeah. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Maybe at an after party, maybe.
maybe at an after party, and the promoter who brought me there, or one of the DJs who played with me, is like, "Yo, let's tag." I'll be like, "Let's go, bro."
Yeah.
I recently walked in to see my friend playing in Miami and at Miami Music Week, and he saw me and he's like, "Get over here."
That's
And then
different, though.
he was like, "You have a USB?"
relationship with
And
it.
I was like,
that's so
"Yeah."
different.
That was fucking awesome. That was a great night.
Amazing.
But the whole stranger thing, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, that is not how you
Because what if we
do
play
it.
some weird ass shit?
Like, I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna.
Who are you? what is on your USB? Like,
I know,
what?
right?
No,
I don't
no.
know. Yeah. So I would say that's probably the weirdest one.
That's such an awkward. How did you handle it?
It's pretty much always the same. I'm like, "Man, I'm sorry." Like, yeah, I'm always just like, I don't know how to listen. No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, people, if you don't know the DJ and the DJ doesn't know you,
Try not to do it.
just don't do it. Like, they're getting paid to perform for
I
a
know,
crowd.
yeah.
Like, don't do it. Well, this has been such an awesome conversation. It
Of
really
course.
has. A few more questions for you. I definitely want you to let us know what any of your upcoming releases, projects, gigs, shows, events that you have coming up that you're excited about.
Yeah, I'm playing Lightning in a Bottle next
love
month in May. That's gonna be pretty awesome.
Nice.
And then
Have you played there before?
no, it's my
First
first
time?
time. Yeah, I've never even been there, and I've heard it's
Nice.
really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And then in September is actually my favorite party ever. I'm playing back to back with Pesner in Seattle on the rooftop of Monkey Loft, and it's an open to close.
Mm-hmm.
Pesner is a really incredible artist who I really looked up to for many years.
Amazing.
And I happened to be introduced. So I was playing at a stream. I was like DJing on a live stream on Abracadabra's Twitch channel in Seattle. And I played like 5 Pesner tracks in 2 hours. And somebody who knew Pesner was there. That person was like, dude, you love Pesner. I was like, you don't even know. I literally have like, I have every single song this fucking guy ever made. I'm like obsessed with him. And he was like, no shit. He's my homie. And that is also the guy who's throwing the party in Monkey Loft, Shameless, Dan. And he was like, you need to meet him. And I was like, I would love to. So then a couple weeks later, he brought him to my stream. And within 5 minutes, we were like best friends.
Amazing.
And then for the last 4 years, we've been doing like a B2B open to close in the Monkey Loft rooftop he has like the craziest music I've ever heard. It's fucking wild. Like, where are these tracks coming from? And yeah, it's gonna be our 4th year in a row doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's like my favorite party.
Nice. You said that's in September?
September 10th, yeah.
Nice.
And then I have an EP coming on the label He, She, They.
Okay.
It's gonna come out later this year. It's with Nayab. And what I love about it is that they're both tracks that are in completely different places that I've never gone.
Okay.
So one of them I'm gonna probably play today, which is like a 140 BPM song. It's like something totally else. I don't know how to describe it. And then the other side of it is like a down-tempo, Bollywood-ish, pop-ish song. But they're on the same record. I'm really excited about this record.
Love it.
Yeah. And I was really excited about the one that I just put out on Indo Warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah. It was called Mast Galandar.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of love went into that, and I think it's cool because it's kind of like pushing the boundaries a little bit of what you would expect electronic music and South Asian music to be, and where you can go with it.
Yeah. I really like what Indo Warehouse has been up to.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
They're very cool.
And it's a great song too. Nice work.
Thank you.
Where can our listeners follow you and stay up to date with what you're up to?
I will give you all the links, but SoundCloud, Instagram, YouTube is a very good one, and all the other streaming platforms. And Bandcamp, actually. I really appreciate everybody's support on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
Bandcamp is a really good one.
Yeah. So Saqib, thank you so much for coming on. We always finish the conversation by having you complete this one sentence.
Okay.
To me, house music is
love.
It's been great having you on. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you. My man. That was really good.
Thanks for listening to that latest interview on Tiny Table Radio. It would help a lot if you hit that subscribe button now so I can bring on more guests and keep this show going. So hit that subscribe button now, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the set.